Hey guys, so today is not going to be a fun day at all for this topic, but it's something that everybody should talk about because it happens to a lot of people while they're pregnant and spouses that are going along with it or partners, whatever. It affects all of us and it's scary. And what I'm going to talk about is the scary moments. The moments when you're not sure if there's going to be a miscarriage, when you're not sure if your wife or girlfriend is hurt, you know that they're scared, and you have to be the silent and strong partner. We had one of those this morning, and I wasn't 100% expecting it to happen. I always know that there's a possibility because with one of my pregnancies, I had a scary moment. It was just later on in the pregnancy at about 28 weeks. So for me at that time, if the baby had to be delivered, it would have survived. But when you're only 12 weeks and 5 days, the survivability is zero for the fetus. So we had a scary moment this morning, and I heard the babe come from the bathroom and my heart sank because I knew that wasn't a good call. I knew that it was something wrong. So obviously there's nothing you can do immediately as long as it's not emergency department, criteria or labor and delivery criteria, which it wasn't. Thank goodness it wasn't that extreme. It was just enough that I needed to call the doctor's office when they opened. So my wife went to work. She just, put a pad in so that way she could monitor what was going on and make sure that it wasn't anything that was bright red or heavy flow. But it was a scary enough, sight this morning that it startled us. And at 8:30 when the doctor's office opened, I called while I was in the car. I used my little speakerphone option, and I called and I got a hold of a nurse, and they said, can she come in, this morning? We want her in here as soon as possible, at least give her some peace of mind and let her know that everything's going to be okay. We want to do an ultrasound and check on the baby. And I said, yes, I'll find out as soon as she can be in there. Now, my wife does work in the medical field, so it's not easy for her to just leave when she has patients, but she was able to get in there soon enough, and I was able to meet her. I just happened to be at a parent-teacher conference not like 5 minutes away from the doctor's office, so I was able to get over there as soon as I left the conference, and she was still waiting to be seen. So timing was perfect. We got in there. And then when you're in the room and they have the little Doppler and they're trying to find the baby's heart rate, sometimes it takes a minute, especially when you're only in the first trimester. The baby can hide, the baby can roll around and, put their butt on it or whatever and make it so that you can't find the heart rate. And of course, this morning was one of those times. I can tell that Zoe is going to be a rambunctious and stubborn little girl, just like her mother's, because she was hiding from the Doppler. And this was not a good time for her to do that because both of us were anxious already. And even though the nurse had, continuously told us, I'm sure everything is totally fine. This doesn't sound like it's enough of an emergency that we need to be concerned. But of course, as she was trying to find the heart rate, seconds feel like minutes, and minutes feel like hours. So it was probably only about 2 minutes of her trying to find the heart rate and not being able to find a strong, definitive heart rate of the baby, I could see the panic in my wife's face. And that was the scariest moment of my life for a second there. I have lived through a lot of shit that was scary as fuck. Things where my life was on the line, and that's fucking fine compared to my children or my wife. So that was a scary moment, and I saw the look on her face, and I immediately had to look back at the ultrasound, not the ultrasound, the Doppler thing on her belly. I didn't want her to see the worry in my face, and I'm pretty sure that I failed at hiding it today for the first time. I don't think she's ever seen me that worried. So, but I saw the look in her eyes, and I did my absolute best to be strong and silent and just wait for the medical professional to find the heart rate instead of trying to rip it from her hand like I wanted to. I want to just rip it from her hand and try to find it myself because damn it, I've done this 3 times for myself. I know I can find it for her. I'm just kidding, by the way. But after, however long it was probably literally 2 minutes. She finally said, all right, I'm just going to go get the ultrasound machine and I'm going to go get the doctor. So she went and got the ultrasound machine, and when she reeled it in, of course my wife had to like strip down because they do it vaginally when they're checking for the baby in a situation like this, especially in the first trimester, to see exactly where the spotting is coming from and why it's happening, as well as they did a vaginal ultrasound, which if your wife or if you are in your first trimester, usually that's what they're going to do because it's the easiest route at that stage. Of course, that's when my wife, I could tell she was getting more nervous because we couldn't find a definitive heart rate with the Doppler thing. And then now the ultrasound cart's coming in and we're waiting for the doctor and the nurse is typing away on the computer and my wife started to ramble. And I haven't seen her act like that at a doctor's appointment. I haven't seen her act like that anywhere. She started to kind of like keep going over the same things over and over again. She was perseverating on the fact that, this should be okay, right? This isn't like bad. This isn't a sign. And the nurse was like, no, I promise. Like in the first trimester, they can hide and it's no big deal. Because we did hear the whoosh, whoosh for like just a split second and then it went away. So I could hear it for that split second, but it wasn't enough where it was comforting. So when the doctor came in, luckily we have 3 different doctors at our office that we see, and this one we had not met yet, but we had heard great things about her. And she came in and she was confident and she was calming and she was obviously very experienced. We found out why there was spotting, and it turned out that luckily it just has to do with my wife's pH level and everything will be fine. However, getting through that this morning was, I'm sure it's only the first of very many scary experiences we're going to have together as parents of our first, child together. I've been through enough of scary experiences with my own kids before, but now when it's my wife carrying and I have absolutely zero fucking control over the situation, it's a totally different experience. And if you have to go through this, I want you to just think of it in the sense that the more you panic and the more that you show your partner that you're scared, unfortunately, that's not going to comfort them. It's not going to make it go faster. It's not going to make it better. In fact, it's just going to exacerbate everything that they're feeling. It's going to make them feel even worse. It's going to make them more scared. And in our relationship, although I tend to be the more emotional one, when it comes to times of panic, times of, high stress, I calm down. So learn from my experience if you can, and try to keep that in mind when you're going into this. Don't let them see you panic. It's good to show that you fucking care. Don't like act like a robot and all that, but I know for a second there, I feel like I failed my wife at being the support system that she absolutely needed in that split second where she could see the look on my face. I just tried to, grin and it's okay. And just kept looking at the nurse and then looking at the belly. But yeah, this is interesting. So let me know, comment below if you've experienced this yourself, if you've had to go through this. God forbid if you've had to deal with an actual miscarriage or stillbirth. I am so sorry and my heart goes out to you. I hope and I pray that other people don't have to experience that, but I do have several friends that have, and I know it sounds selfish to be like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen to me, but we all hope that we don't have to go through that. And we all hope for each other that nobody else has to go through it. But unfortunately, sometimes there are things that are not in our control. And I think for the first time, especially for my wife, who's a very driven woman and she's a very strong woman, she's realizing that some things she really won't have any control over. And I know she's seen that in other situations, but it's different when it's your own body and it's your own baby. So just a little food for thought today. And I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.